Breaking news, y'all. NBA superstar Russell Westbrook could be forced into early retirement. He's 36 years old. He's won an MVP. He's been to the NBA Finals. He spent 17 seasons in the NBA. He most recently played for the Denver Nuggets. They had a 7-game series with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who ultimately ended up winning the NBA championship last year. And listen, I made a video about this on my channel. I told you guys last year that the Denver Nuggets would be Russell Westbrook's last opportunity in the NBA before teams pretty much just stopped signing this guy. Because let's be honest, guys, Russell Westbrook is a liability. He causes a lot of turnovers. He has a low shooting percentage. He's not a good three-point shooter, and he doesn't play defense. Well, he plays defense. He's just not a great defensive player. On top of that, he's a poor free throw shooter, right? Also, Russell Westbrook has lost his he's still athletic. I don't want to get my words misconstrued. He's still athletic, but he has lost his explosiveness when it comes to attacking the rim, right? We all remember when Russell Westbrook was in his prime, right? He was dunking on everybody, making contested layups, getting to the free throw line. We don't see that same explosiveness, which is normal at age 36. I think most people would agree that LeBron James, who's 40 years old, is more explosive and athletic than Russell Westbrook is at age 36, which is pretty shocking, right? This is why people think LeBron is on steroids, because LeBron is just a freak of nature. But you got to remember that LeBron is 6'8", right? Russell Westbrook is only 6'4", right? So listen, man, out of all 30 teams in the NBA, the only team that seems to be interested in signing Russell Westbrook is the Sacramento Kings, okay? And we don't know if Russell Westbrook is going to sign with the Sacramento Kings. We know that he lives in California. We know that he lives in LA, which is why he played for the Lakers and he played for the Clippers. But Russell Westbrook has made it very clear that at this point in his career, he wants to win an NBA championship before he retires. And let's be honest, the Sacramento Kings are not one of the best teams in the West. They're just not, okay? They got DeMar DeRozan, they got Zach LaVine, they got Dennis Schroeder. You know, it's just when it comes to the West, if that team was in the East, I would say yes, that team would be a contender in the East. In the Western Conference, man, that team is they're just not good enough to, you know, I would even say even get to the Western Conference Finals, right? Now, anything can happen, of course. Anything can happen, right? I don't think anybody expected the Indiana Pacers to go to the finals last year. So anything can happen. But what I'm saying is, because the Western Conference in the NBA is so competitive, Russell Westbrook signing with the Kings gives him a very low chance to actually compete for a championship, right? So that's pretty much the only team that has shown interest in signing Russell Westbrook. I'm going to read you guys this article from Yahoo Sports. The title of this article is NBA Teams Showing Little Interest in Russell Westbrook. So let me read y'all this article from Yahoo Sports. Russell Westbrook is running out of options. According to a report from Hoops Wire's Sam Amico, the former MVP remains unsigned, declining his $4 million option with the Denver Nuggets earlier this summer. So Russell Westbrook could have stayed with the Denver Nuggets. He could have opted into his $4 million contract. And at that point, the Nuggets would have either had to waive him and pay him the $4 million, or they could have just kept him on the roster and bring him off the bench, because Russell Westbrook did score 13 points per game off the bench for the Denver Nuggets, which was impressive. He had one of his highest three-point shooting percentages that he's had in his career. And listen, man, they almost went to the finals, right? They went to the conference finals. They had 7 games against OKC. They got very close to getting back to the finals, man. So shout out to Russell Westbrook. I think he had a great season last year. He even started a lot of games because Jamal Murray was injured. And Russell Westbrook showed that he can still be productive in the NBA today without even being a full-time starter, right? So let me continue reading this article. It says, though he's been linked to several teams, no deal has materialized. Now with training camp just around the corner, there's a growing chance he enters the season without a team. So that has never happened in Russell Westbrook's career. We have never seen Russell Westbrook unsigned before the start of the NBA season, right? The NBA season starts in 2 months. October 21st is the first NBA game. So we'll see if somebody signs him by then, but it's not looking too good right now for Russell Westbrook. It says several teams have been mentioned as potential fits. Of course, the list includes the Sacramento Kings, the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, the Milwaukee Bucks, That said, sources told Hoops Wire they would not be surprised if Westbrook enters the season unsigned. If he does get signed, it will likely be to a minimum contract, and it may or may not deal with any of the teams mentioned above. Russell Westbrook, 36, is a future Hall of Famer with 17 years of NBA experience, with a resume that includes an MVP, 2 scoring titles, and 9 All-Star appearances. Russ was once one of the league's top point guards, but age, injuries, and the evolution of the game have drastically decreased his value. And I agree with that, man. I think because today's NBA is so stuck on shooting threes, thanks to Steph Curry, who I think is one of the GOATs. Everybody in the NBA wants to shoot threes, right? Like the mid-range game. The mid-range game is, I hate to say this, it's becoming extinct, right? Like players like Kobe and, Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade, guys that basically, were excellent mid-range shooters. Even Russell Westbrook in his prime was a great mid-range shooter. Even with his jump shots, the game just doesn't play like that. You're even seeing big men shoot threes. Like all 5 positions shoot threes now. So I think that is forced Russell Westbrook to have to improve his 3-point shot. Also, like I said, because of injuries, because of age, he has lost his explosiveness of getting to the rim. Like he can't get to the rim how Ja Morant can right now, right? So it says last season in 75 games for the Nuggets, he averaged 13.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game on a 44.9 shooting percentage. For Russell Westbrook, that is good, bro. But after declining his player option for the 2025-26 campaign, Westbrook became a free agent this summer, where he remains unsigned nearly 3 weeks into August. While he no doubt believes he can contribute at an elite level, Westbrook's flaws on defense and the perimeter make him a liability in certain situations, and he doesn't do enough anymore to justify giving him major minutes. That's not to mention his reputation for immaturity. Still, not all hope is lost for Russ. If he's flexible and if his next stop, he could still find a role that lets him chase a ring and end his career on his own terms. With a team like the Milwaukee Bucks or the New York Knicks, he'd have a real chance to add a championship to his resume, playing alongside Giannis or Jalen Brunson. If he's open to more of a mentorship leadership role, Westbrook could prove useful for a team like the Kings or the Heat, who have young players and role players who are eager to learn from NBA legends. Sacramento specifically has strong considered adding him to his growing arsenal of talent. If there's one team that should sign Russ, however, it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. While they don't need his services by any stretch, it could be an amazing end to his story and a great way for the organization to treat the fans by celebrating Westbrook's career in an emotional reunion. So far, GMs haven't been willing to close the deal, but that could change as training camp gets closer or when the season starts and the inevitable injury bug begins to take its toll. For now, all he can do is wait. Russell Westbrook is no longer the MVP caliber force he once was, but he's still a competitor, a worker, and a presence in any locker room. Whether or not he finds a home before opening night, the door isn't closed just yet. Listen, man. When I think of the teams that Russell Westbrook should go to, I think the number one team is most definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the team that he won an MVP with. This is a team that he took to the NBA Finals alongside Kevin Durant and James Harden coming off the bench. And I think this would be a perfect way to end Russell Westbrook's story, right? OKC just won their first championship in franchise history. How beautiful would it be if they sign Russell Westbrook and have Russell Westbrook come off the bench and be the point guard for that second unit, pretty much behind SGA? I think that would be incredible, man. And you would have to say OKC is the favorites to win it all because they pretty much kept everybody that they won a championship with. I think they kept the same exact team. And I don't think there's anything Westbrook could do to hurt this team, bro, especially if he's coming off the bench. You know he's not going to start. He's already familiar with OKC. He has a great relationship with Sam Presti, who pretty much, made Russell Westbrook the number one option on OKC. He has a great relationship with the franchise. And I think that's the team that he's going to end up going to. If he doesn't go to OKC, I do think he would be a good fit for the Miami Heat. I think Russell Westbrook is literally perfect for the Miami Heat because of the Miami Heat's culture, because of Pat Riley, because of how serious the Miami Heat organization takes their players as far as them staying in shape, them prioritizing their health, them playing basketball the right way. But, you know, the downside of him going to the Miami Heat is the Miami Heat, in my opinion, you know what? I changed my mind. I was going to say the Miami Heat could not compete for a championship, but when you look at the Eastern Conference, right? Damian Lillard tore his Achilles. He's not in the Eastern Conference anymore. He signed with the Portland Trail Blazers. He's out the entire season, right? Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles. He's going to be out the entire season. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. He's going to be out the entire season. So if Russell Westbrook signs with either the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks, or the Boston Celtics, I think he could have a really good possibility of going to the NBA Finals and competing for a championship. Now, out of all three of those teams, I think the New York Knicks is hands down the best option. I think he should go to the Knicks, come off the bench, right? I think that would give him the best possibility. I think Russell Westbrook has a better chance of signing to a team in the East than the West if he wants to go back to the finals, right? Especially due to the players I just named in the Eastern Conference missing the entire next season because of Achilles tears. Listen, Russ, bro, try to sign with the Knicks or the Boston Celtics or the Miami Heat or even a team like the Atlanta Hawks, bro. I think that should be the best option, man. So let me know what you guys think about this, man. It's your boy Wavy, Stay Wavy TV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. What team do you guys want to see Russell Westbrook play for next year? Or do you want to see Russell Westbrook retire? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.